Wide Web. I'm GW Pomichter, and we are hanging with game designers, authors, writers. We hung with an independent filmmaker earlier, creators of all kinds at the 34th annual Necronomicon in Tampa, Florida. Before we jump right in, I want to take a quick shout out to one of our greatest sponsors, Something Unique Magazine. They're at somethinguniquemag.com. They're helping us to share these wonderful creators with the internet at large, I hope. It's a World Wide Web. 6 people will see it, maybe 7. We're hoping that Something Unique helps us get it out there to a few more people. So anyway, we're at Necronomicon 2015 again at the Royal Hyatt Regency in Tampa, and we are hanging right now with Gwen Mayo, who is the author of the Nessa Donnelly Mystery Series, which includes Circle of Dishonor and Concealed in Ash. We have Concealed in Ash here with us.
Yes.
And so, first of all, let's start at the very beginning. How's the con going for you?
Oh, it's going great.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it?
Although I did lose my voice yesterday.
You panels.
I did 4 panels in a row.
Wow.
And moderated 3 of them.
Wow. And you have another one to go to here shortly, so you're just kind of staying busy.
Very busy.
So what's your favorite part about the con experience?
Taking pictures of all the costumes.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Some of them are just wicked. Creative. I actually hope to get to interview some of the creators of those, because that's an amazing skill to create, especially people. We dream it up and put it in words, and then these guys take it in the back room and they chisel out armors. And there's a guy back. He makes armor, and he makes it for your dog. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So, Gwen, tell us a little bit about your inspiration and for the Nessa Donnelly Mystery Series.
I started reading a letter in an 1864 newspaper. And
Because, once in a while you run into an 1864 newspaper and you read the
I'm a
letters.
huge history buff. If it's historical, I've probably read it.
That'll happen to you once in a while, and read those letters.
So I was reading the old newspapers in Lexington, Kentucky, and I ran across this letter to the editor. And the gentleman begins with, "I wish to register a complaint." And he goes on to tell how he was kidnapped by a couple of Pinkerton agents, put between the Union and the Confederate lines in the hopes that one side or the other would shoot him.
Uh-huh.
So I thought about this for a bit, and I decided to do a brother and sister pair of Pinkerton agents. And I started writing stories with them during the Civil War. And there's several short stories with the character.
Uh-huh.
And then I had, at the end of the war, the brother got killed. And the sister is spending her time looking for the people who did the secret society that had killed him.
Okay.
So the first book dealt with that and her, getting past his death. The second book, and like I said, these are set 14 years after the Civil War. So the second book comes in, and now that she's sort of solved the problem about her brother's killers, she's trying to figure out what to do, because after impersonating a man for 14 years, she doesn't think she could go back to being a woman.
In post-Civil War America, that's a little bit difficult anyway.
But, there were an amazing number of women during the Civil War who impersonated men.
Mm-hmm.
There are 400 confirmed cases where they collected pensions from the army.
Wow.
Because they had served during the war.
I was just going to ask you, a lot of research goes into this kind of historical fiction.
Oh, there's an amazing amount of research involved in writing historical fiction if you're going to be true to the history.
Yeah.
And I can safely say that I have kept true to the history as far as anything that is a written fact about the era. I've not contradicted it. The story is totally fiction.
Well, of course.
We are amazing liars as fiction writers.
I had years ago had a writing instructor, creative writing instructor actually, who said the writer's job is to tell the truth, not ever the facts. If you're a journalist, that's a different story. If you're a creative writer, you get to what's in here. You get to the really human condition. And a lot of times to get there, you've got to tell the best whopper you can think of, because it's the only way to trick people into listening to what's really in the human, experience. And I paid attention to that, because we are amazing liars.
Yes. And I really do a lot with these books with the history of Kentucky post-Civil War, because Kansas and Kentucky were in a very unique position after the war. they had been occupied by the Union forces. And for about 3 years after the war, they referred to it as readjustment because neither state had seceded from the Union. So they couldn't actually make them part of what they were doing to the South. But they said it was a readjustment period. And they had another 3 years of occupation after the war was over. It was really 1872 before the Army fully moved out of Kentucky.
Oh, wow.
And what happened is that in that time you've created an enormous power vacuum.
Uh-huh.
So there are dozens of secret societies. There's a lot of lynchings. There's vigilante justice.
Wow.
On the average, there were 5 lynchings a month in the year that I started writing. This was 1879. So I could write 300 books and never, ever run out of material
Touch that
from
history.
the time period.
Yeah, that is amazing. So what kind of inspired you to write these? Was there a particular thing about the era that you liked, or the characters kind of spoke to you? What really drove this?
I love the era because in Kentucky it was referred to as the decades of discord. Everything between the end of the Civil War and the turn of the century would fall into that category because it took that long for them to recover and actually have a working government and a working, and mostly on the local scale. The state government pretty much went on, but the governor had no control over what was going on in the mountains and the western coal fields. And we had feuds, we had secret societies, we had vigilante bands, we had what they refer to as the Black Patch Wars in western Kentucky over the tobacco industry. So it's just an amazing period of history and how the people came through it and what they did. And I try to capture the personality of the people because they're dealing with all sorts of different issues.
That's amazing. It really it is. It sounds like an amazing story to start with, but the depth to which you love the material and the history. I haven't read the books yet, but I have to assume that passion flows out of the pages. And
I think it does. I think I capture it in the character, and she's conflicted herself because she was an Irish immigrant who ended up in Kentucky as one of the Pinkerton agents, who were based out of Ohio and Cincinnati, just across the border from Kentucky, is where their main offices were during the war.
Wow.
And they were attached to McClellan's army.
You know so much more than I can even. I mean, you know what? I love history. I do. And the Civil War is a particularly fascinating time in American history because it's. I can't imagine us finding ourselves. There were no good guys and bad guys. We as a country, we were at our worst, and we were broken down. And the years that followed the Civil War, we were still at our worst. We did our worst to each other, and we did our worst overall. And so the depth of knowledge that you have on this topic is amazing to me.
It's such a fascinating time, especially in Kentucky, because Kentucky belonged to both sides.
Yeah. Wow.
They were officially the 11th state in the Confederacy, and they stayed in the Union.
Wow.
The government split in half.
Gwen, I know you have a panel to get to.
Yes.
I'm getting a little signal here telling us that we have to get you to your panel.
Right.
So this is amazing and fascinating. So at any rate, I'm going to let you go, but we're going to give one quick shout out again for the Nessa Donnelly Mystery Series, Circles of Dishonor and Concealed in Ash. Can I grab that real quick? I want to make sure we show that to everybody. It's Concealed in Ash. This is book 2 of the series. And we are back. We are here at Necronomicon 2015, and just before we had to kind of cut ourselves short a little bit, we were talking a little bit about where we can find you out there in the world. This is the World Wide Web. So where can our viewers go and find the books?
Well, like everyone else, you can find me on Amazon.
Okay.
But the easiest thing is to go to the Mystery and Horror LLC website, and that's just Mystery and Horror LLC, all lowercase.
Mystery and Horror LLC.com. All right, that's great. So Mystery and Horror LLC.com.
And if all else fails, type my name in because Gwen Mayo will come up.
Outstanding. Yeah, that is. I found that's one of the most difficult things in the world to do in the modern age is take control of your own name, so that when they Google you, they find you.
Yes.
Gwen, thank you so much for hanging with us. This has been a lot of fun. Are you on Facebook, Twitter? Can they find you out there somewhere?
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. You can find our publishing house, mysteryandhorror.com. It also has a Facebook page.
Awesome.
And a Twitter account.
That's fantastic.
So
well,
I'm fairly easy to find.
You need to be. You need to be. And thank you very much for hanging with us here. And,
well, thanks for having me.
And I hope you have a great rest of the weekend here.
Oh, I'm sure I will. This has been fun.
Awesome. You have more panels to do, or?
One more tomorrow on the historical
That'll be.
panel.
I'm going to look forward to that. So. We are so far ahead of where we thought we would be this weekend that I'm actually going to get to do stuff.
All right.
So I'm looking forward to it. Gwen Mayo, thank you very much. The Nessa Donnelly Mystery Series, number 1, Circles of Dishonor, number 2, Concealed in Ash. You can also go to Mystery and Horror LLC, right? LLC.com, and check out all of the books by Gwen Mayo and the Mystery and Horror LLC press.
Which is about 5 authors now.
That's great. Everybody, I am GW Pomichter. We'll be back in just a bit. Log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next here at Necronomicon 2015.
I think there's something that we all have in common. Something primal. Everyone wants to be seduced.
All we need is one night and an appetite.
I'm just saying it's natural. Take away social etiquette, it's just we seduce to survive. And I bet if you could spy in any room here right now, you see a seduction of some sort going down in everyone.
I promise, I'll be a perfect gentleman.
Darling, I do.
Are you trying to imply that I am questioning my sexuality?
Let's get a fancy
Aren't we all?
honeymoon.
Women want a whole lot more than just to be seduced and then screwed and discarded by some chauvinistic douchebag with non-committal issues.
Don't you want to be with a guy who just wants to please you?
Play all night and sleep all
Seduce you? You have a guy who loves you and takes care of you?
Yeah, I have someone.
I didn't pay you for a conversation.
She said, are you a prude? It's time
You know we gotta be the most passionate couple ever.
I know.
And I adore you, darling, I do. But I implore you.
Do you love me?
Let's get a fancy room.
Of course.
Oh, Miles, you remember our prom, don't you?
Yes.
This is a very special night for you, isn't it?
Tonight is the night that I'm going to lose it to you.
Sleep all day. 'Cause life's too short.
I have something for you, you big dog.
Wow.
Yes, all men are dogs.
Hello, good morning, World Wide Web. I'm GW Pomichter, and we are hanging with artists and game developers and writers and creators of all kinds at the 34th Annual Necronomicon in Tampa, Florida. We're going to give a quick shout out to our partners and friends over at Something Unique Magazine for helping us to share these videos and share these great artists with you all weekend long. We are at Necronomicon 2015 at the Grand Hyatt Regency in Tampa, Florida, and we are hanging with author T. Allen Diaz, the author of the Proscythian Rain. And how you doing this weekend, man? How's it going?
It's good. I'm having a good time, meeting a lot of people, moving a little bit of
We
merchandise.
got some authors out here. We got some here in the vendor room. You get to move some merchandise, talk to some readers and fans.
Yes.
How are you enjoying the con?
I like it. I really like the conventions. You get to get out and meet people and talk to people, and fortunately, I'm selling some additional books, and I've had return readers come to me. It's been real exciting.
That's great. Now, Proscythian Rain is the book that you're talking about right now, but you've got other books out.
Yes, the Persina Crusade, which is a sequel to Proscythian Rain.
Okay.
And I have a detective noir book called Lunatic City, which takes place on a colonized moon. It's a detective
that's
noir.
awesome. It is interesting to see. When I first started writing, my brother came to me with an idea, and it was a detective noir idea, and that's what I wrote first, and it's a period piece. and it really is sort of an homage to classic noir, because it's amazing how the genre has developed and become a new fantasy genre and blended in with so much futuristic things as well as modern noir, which are mostly graphic novels and things like that, which are it's a really neat adaptation of the genre. So
it has a lot of potential as a story. I think.
It does, and those staples that have been with it since Chandler back in the day they just give you there's a rock to build on and go.
Yes.
And you can build anything you want to, and it's amazing. It really is. So what? How long have you been coming to the cons and things like that?
This is my second Necronomicon.
Okay.
I've been to last year. I went to Comic-Con here locally in Tampa.
Yeah.
I also went to SuperCon this year in Miami. So I've been going for about working on 3 years now.
What do you think? How do you like it?
I like it. I like it. It's really...
What's the coolest thing you've seen at a con? I mean, there's so much here.
Some of the cons that you go to, the costumes and some of the characters that you see are just... There are a lot of... Yeah.
How long have you been writing and publishing?
Well, I've been writing for a long time. I've been self-published for about 3 or 4 years now. I'd have to actually look, depending on how the months fall. But I really have enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun.
What inspires you to write, first of all?
Well,
To
create, I've always had kind of a vivid imagination. And I always kind of had an interest in the idea of writing. I wrote a few stories in high school. I was always interested in history, so I would try and pen some history and some horror, because I was a big Stephen King fan.
Okay.
I just couldn't, none of that stuff worked out for me. And then I had a friend who got into writing a little bit, kind of inspired me.
Okay.
And from then on, I just kept working at it, and I finally found in science fiction something I thought I had a little niche in, and I was able to do that.
You're self-published.
Yes, sir.
You're an indie author.
Yes, sir.
And that is it's an amazing shift in the modern paradigm of publishing. It really is. And so what made you decide to take that route and finally just kind of push the publish button and go?
Well, I had a few query letters that got turned down by publishers, and I really was frustrated by the way it works. You got to give them your material, and then they can take as long as they want to get back with you, but then you're not allowed to talk to anybody else in the meantime.
Yeah.
And it was a really frustrating experience, so I kind of put that idea down, and then my wife we saw that some of the specials about Amazon in particular, but all the indie opportunities that you have out there. And my wife kind of said, you know what, you should really take that up and run with it. And she's been very supportive. And
that's
my
fantastic.
Wife is
it is. And it is going well for you.
It is. It is going well. I've gone to where it was sucking a lot of money out of me just to kind of be here.
Yeah.
Now I'm making my money back, and I'm continuing to build a reader base. So my hope is if I continue to write and I continue to put out product, I continue to come here, I'm very close to being in the black, which for an author is a big thing.
It is a big thing.
And it's not easy.
No, it's not. But, we talk to so many, and particularly at the cons, it's amazing to talk to so many independent artists of all kinds and see the way that, artists are communicating directly with consumers, directly with fans, directly with readers, and people who appreciate the work in a new paradigm. It's not being put to them out by corporate America. It's being brought to you by the artist himself.
Right.
And what would your advice be to those young independent authors and artists out there who they're trying to on the fence? Should I push the button? Should I not push the button? Should I what route should they take? And what would you tell somebody who was getting started like you were just a few years ago?
Well, the route that I would say the first thing is if you care enough to where you've written, I would always encourage you to learn as much as you can about the craft so that you put out a good product, because you have to stand out in a crowd. The great thing is anybody can be in it.
That's right.
But the bad thing is anybody can be in it. So, you're now competing with a ton of people. And so I would say try to learn as much as you can about the craft. Try to put out a good story, and then you can't win if you're not in the game.
Amen.
So you got to go in and you got to take your shot.
Amen. So you've been coming to cons for a couple of different years. We talked about the costumes and how cool they are. What do you got into the table right now? What do you got? Do you have Procithian Rain out there. You got any of the other books in there?
I've got The Persian Crusade, which is a sequel to The Procithian Rain. And I have Lunatic City, which is a detective noir I told you about.
Awesome.
At home on my computer, I have probably 3/4, a little more of, actually a lot more, probably closer to, I'm probably about 85% of the way through the rough draft of the finale for the trilogy, the Dark Space Opera trilogy, which is the Persona series.
That's great.
So,
the Dark Space Opera trilogy.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now, where can people find you out there online?
I'm on Amazon. You just look up TL and Diaz on Amazon, or any of my book titles on Amazon. You can also find me. I'm on Goodreads. I'm a Goodreads author.
Okay.
You can also find me on Facebook under TL and Diaz. Facebook, just search TL and Diaz.
Yeah.
I have my own website, but I just changed over, and there's an added domain. So, but if you find me on Facebook, I link to my new.
Great.
Great.
We're a web show, so we want to make sure people on the web know where to find you.
Yes, absolutely.
It is a World Wide Web. It's a big place.
It is.
So we want to send people over there, and it was so great talking to you, man.
Thank you very
awesome.
much.
And we were hanging with TL and Diaz here at Necronomicon 2015. Procithian Rain is the latest book that we were talking about. But get on over there, find him on Facebook, find him on Amazon, and check out one of his books. He's an independent author that's been out there for a few years now, and there's plenty of work to choose from. I love the idea of a futuristic noir. I'm going to be checking that out myself really, really, really soon. So here we are at Necronomicon's 34th annual event in Tampa, Florida. I'm GW Pomichter, and we're going to be right back in a few minutes. So log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next, because there are lots more folks here at Necronomicon, along with TL and Diaz. And just come on back and see what we're doing next, okay?